Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christian. Today we are here talking about the new album from post-hardcore band Saosin. It is called Along the Shadow. It is their first album with Anthony Green in a very, very long time. I think it's only the second album Anthony's ever sung on for Saosin, and I was really looking forward to this album, and I'm saying that as a person who's not a fan of Saosin. I'm a fan of Anthony Green's new band, Circa Survive. As a big progressive rock fan, I feel like they're bringing that kind of style of music to a more of a mainstream audience. So, and I've always been a fan of his voice. It took me maybe a couple of weeks to get used to it, but ever since that couple of weeks, I've been a huge fan of what he does. And unlike a lot of singers today who put on this whiny kind of voice, he doesn't do that, and I really respect that about him. And he just sings, and he has an amazing voice and does some things that just nobody else on this planet does. And so, as I said, I was really looking forward to this album. They released Silver String a couple months back, and I loved it. It reminded me a bit of just a more straightforward Circa Survive, really, which I feel is what Saosin are. If that offends Saosin listeners, then I apologize. It just seems more like a heavier, more simple Circa Survive. And simple, I'm not using as a bad term. I'm using it more as a just more straightforward, which is a good thing. I think Circa Survive are their own thing. No one's ever going to sound like them, and I'm very, very glad that this Saosin album does not sound anything like Circa Survive, because that was a worry for me, because Anthony Green coming back, it's been years and years and years and years and years, and he's been in Circa Survive that whole time, and you'd think maybe because of the vocal styling he's gotten over that period of time, maybe it would sound very similar, and it doesn't. It's very, very different and very original, and really, really, really cool to listen to. This album has literally no weak moment. It is constantly brilliant. It is just hard and heavy. It has this really cool habit of going from a really anthemic arena rock song, and then as soon as that song ends, it's into a fast post-hardcore punk song that's really cool, and Anthony's screaming and all this stuff. It's really cool. And going back to Circa Survive, it really reminds me of their album, I think it was Blue Sky Noise, sorry. And it just sounds really, really great. Anthony sings incredibly on this album. He is the shining light of this album. I've never been a huge fan of Saosin, purely because I heard a couple of songs back in the day, and they were with their second vocalist, and I just wasn't really a fan, couldn't really get into it. And I think Anthony has brought a type of melody writing to Saosin again that nobody else could do. Anthony Green has a really unique vocal style, and he writes very unique melodies and does some weird things in weird places, and that's what makes this album truly, truly special. Anthony Green isn't the only highlight, though. The instrumentation on this album is brilliant. You can't tell that this band has been on a break for a little while. I'm not sure how long the break has been, but I do know that this is being heralded as a reunion, so I guess they've been away for a while. And the instrumentation is so inventive, and it's played so tightly. You can tell it feels like a band in a room, which is a really rare thing for a band in this genre lately. And I think that was further shown whenever they've released music videos for this album, because the music videos are all them just playing in a room together. And whether that was done just purely because of time and all that kind of stuff is irrelevant, because I feel those videos really show what this album is. It feels like 5 people in a room playing music together, coming up with some really inventive and original stuff that is it stands out in a year that has had so much brilliance in it, and that's a really hard thing to do. This would have been possibly my number one album of last year if it had come out last year, just purely because this year's been so brilliant, and last year was a bit more dull, and this album is just so good. It's original while still sticking to things that have come before it, and I don't know how people manage to do that without completely reinventing a genre. It's just subtle songwriting things that this band does that really differentiate themselves. The album is a huge journey. Every song flows together perfectly. They're all in the right spot. I wouldn't move one song earlier and one song later or any of that kind of stuff. It flows perfectly. Every song just leads into each other really, really well. And not only is the album a journey, it's an unpredictable journey. As I said before, going from an arena rock song straight into a hard song, hard post-hardcore. And I'm not talking new school post-hardcore, I'm talking old school post-hardcore. It's just really, really good to hear a band in this genre doing something new. And I know I keep saying new, but it's new while still, being what came before it. And as I said before, that's just an incredible, incredible achievement. As I said before, Green's vocals are certainly the standout. He writes some melodies that are just incredible and inventive, and I feel like I'm just repeating what I've said earlier. I'll name my top 3 tracks. They are The Silver String, Control, and The Urge to Pray, and Sore Distress. Sore Distress is my favourite song on the album. And really, there is no weak song on the album. I can't really say a bad thing about this album. I feel like I should be giving it a 5 out of 5. I'm not, purely because I feel that even though all the songs are hugely strong, I feel like it's not at the same standard as a 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5. Excuse me. But I'm going to give this album a 4.5 out of 5. It is a brilliant, brilliant album in a brilliant week of music. Definitely go check out the album. Check out Saosin. I'm going to go back and check out their first album with Anthony Green, because this album is just brilliant and really entertaining to listen to. Go check it out. It is out tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching my video today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please hit subscribe down below, and I'll see you next time. Fresh Currents.